All right. So we are live. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
All right, my name is Paj Turner, born and raised Chicago, Illinois. I am the author of the urban fiction literature, The Emancipation of Limits.
Cool, no doubt. So you grew up in the South Side of Chicago in the 1980s, right?
Right.
Can you kind of talk about life for you back during that time?
Well, yeah, life for me back in the 80s, I'm a 70s baby, so born in the 80s it was fun. I think Chicago at the time was really coming up on the gang violence, right? It was just fist fights and altercation between, vice lords and disciples. Everybody was trying to be the next Jordan. So it was just, just gang, school, basketball, and fun, man. I had a really good childhood, man. I wouldn't change it for anything. Um, Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mentioned basketball, and I kind of want to jump in for a second. Now, there was an incident with you and some individuals as you were on your way to a basketball game.
Right.
Can you talk about that a little bit of what went down?
Well, yeah, so I graduated from Leo High School and I went to Kennedy King Junior College on the Bell. This one particular time, my mom didn't take me to the game. She had some other things that she was doing, so I took the bus, right? I hopped on Racine, 82nd and Racine, got off 69th and Racine, went across the street to the currency exchange waiting for the bus to drop me off. So I'm sitting on the corner, and of course, I'm in a totally different neighborhood. So I checked my hat, make sure it was straight, make sure I ain't have on no colors, so I can get about my business. So across the street, it was about 12 guys that was just walking, and three of them split off, and they beeline straight for me. So as they was walking towards me, I was like, just bracing to see what would happen. And they cornered me. I had my gym bag on my shoulder. I had my San Francisco starter coat with the matching hat, the Jordans. I was fresh. And they was like, "Hey, where you from?" And I said, "Hey, I'm from, 82nd and Troop." And they said, that's Vice Lord area. You a Vice Lord? And I was like, nah. They was like, where you going? I said, hey, I'm going to my game. They said, what school? I said, Kennedy King. And they say, oh, it's a disciple school, right? I'm like, whatever, So one of the guys reached for my bag. I had my Jordans in there. I had my uniform, so I wasn't trying to give that up. So when he reached, I pulled away. And he said, no, bro, you don't want to do that. He reached in his pants. He took out a revolver. He cocked it and he put it to my chest. And everybody that was on the bus stopped, went inside the currency exchange, man. They just like abandoned me. And I was just sitting there and I had my hands up and I'm like, hey, man, listen, I'm just trying to get to my game, man. Just let me get to my game. So he pressed the gun into my chest and his boy was like, shoot him. And when they say that your life flashed before your eyes, man, that is 100% facts. I seen myself as a kid. I seen things like my mom was doing with me that I would never remember on any other instance. So this guy who lived in my apartment building, who lived in the neighborhood, he was in a wheelchair. He was shot in the back a few years ago during, gang related, stuff. And he looked at me and he kept wailing by. And he looked at me again and called me by my brother's name. He could have called me anything, Alphonse, Junebug, anything. I would have answered to it. And I was like, yeah. And the peoples was like, you know him? He go, yeah, man, that's my little brother. Leave him alone. So they just darted right back across the street to who they was with. And he was like, what are you doing around here? I'm like, I'm trying to get to my gang. He was like, look, don't come around here, man. It's a gang war over here and they fighting for territory for drugs. Go the other way, So that was it, man. I went to the game and I scored like no points because I was shook up. And that's when my uncle told me, hey, man, you need to join the military and get off the street. So, about 3 months later, that's what I did.
Yeah, and I'm glad you kind of transitioned into that because when you joined the military, you were first in the Navy,
Yeah,
And then you made that transition into the Army.
correct.
And once you hit the Army, you made some historical feat, right?
Mm.
So can you kind of talk about your military background and that historic accomplishment?
Well, yeah, I joined the Navy at 19. I did 8 years. And then I came across a program that the Army was accepting Navy sailors into a warrant officer program, right? So a warrant officer is a commissioned officer, but they're skilled in a position, and they are skilled in a certain job, right? They're technicians and experts at a certain job. So I was in the Navy, I was on boats. A lot of people didn't know that the Army had boats, right? So the Navy do big blue sea missions. The Army of boats are flat bottom. So they hit the beach, drop the ramp, offload tanks and trucks and so on and so forth, right? Transportation Corps. So I put my packet in. I got picked up, to the Army Warrant Officer Procurement Program. I was a W-1. And I went through the ranks, fairly easy till W-4. So W-5s make up less than 1% of the Army. So when I came up for the Chief Warrant Officer 5 board, I was selected, and that made me the first African American to be a Chief Warrant Officer 5 in the Transportation Corps since its existence of 1942. So it was a huge feat. Of course, it wasn't something I did by myself, man. I had a lot of good mentors and a lot of soldiers, man, that really went the extra mile for me. So, without them, it would be no history. And plus, it's something for other minorities to look at and try to reach. So after I achieved it, I had nothing else to prove. I gave the military 28 years and, I retired.
Well, congratulations on that. That is definitely Black history. So fast forward to present day,
Right.
you release your first book, The Emancipation of Limits.
Yep.
Can you kind of talk about the synopsis of that story?
Well, the Emancipation of Limits is the series title for a 3-book series written in reverse chronological order, right? So the Emancipation of Limits, this book in particular, is about a character who was an entrepreneur and a businessman, right? So he loved his people so much, he wanted to change the condition of his people. The education, the living arrangement, the job opportunities just not there, for African Americans. So he said that he was going to recreate Black Wall Street, but he was going to do that with money seeded from the drug game. So he actually went into the drug game in order to get the funding in order to build schools and hospitals and strip malls and start businesses for college kids who talented coming straight out of college. He would fund it, and then once they get going, he would separate the drug money from their business, and then he'll go somewhere else. And then he actually started in Chicago, and he migrated all the way up to Midwest. So this book is when he's established. He has all these things. He got the Black dollar in the community for days instead of hours, right? Because the Black dollar community stays for about 6 hours. Well, he has it to it's about 10 days. And he's huge now. So now with the agreement with his Connect, he wants out the game and go 100% legit. But he created so much wealth for the Connects, they don't want to let him out. So they do things to try to seek his vulnerabilities out to keep him in the game. It's this exciting book, man. It's real good.
Yeah, it definitely sounds very exciting. I'm definitely going to check it out. So, I've written a couple books in the past, and, the characters in my book, they're based off, people that I know, family members or friends. The question I have for you is one, was there any type of inspiration behind creating the main character whose name is Richie, if I'm not mistaken? And two, what was the inspiration by wanting you to create this whole series?
Okay, I'll answer the second question first. So I wanted to create something that was commemorate Black Wall Street, right? Tulsa, Oklahoma, they had everything. Everything was Black. Businesses, schools, teachers, everything, and it was successful. And as we know, it was torn down based off the lie of a black man raping a white woman, which is really funny because it was consensual and they actually got married like a couple years later after that terrorist attack, right? They won't never talk about that. So I wanted to bring something that was to commemorate that, right? Black movement. And I also wanted to add the Hollywood entertainment to it. So people who have read my book said that this book is a series waiting to happen, and it's if Power in New Jack City made a baby, but with the movement and a purpose for black people behind it. I think that is the perfect assembly to this book. The first question, the character Richie is basically me in a nutshell, right? So as an author, you always told the right things that you know. And one person I do know is me. So, and you're right, as an author, you write characters to people that you do know. You know what I'm saying? Because you know their personalities, you know what they would do in certain situations, you know their mannerisms, you know what ticks them off, you know what makes them laugh. So it's easy to take a person that you know energy and put it into a character in a book. So, and it made it really easy for me to write. Right? This book is about 102,000 words. I wrote it in 4 months and 2 weeks.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. But you did say it was fairly easy for you to write, but I do know like the process of even getting the book out to the public can be a little challenging. So what were some of the challenges that you come across when you're trying to put this book out for the public?
Well, a book or an author, you're a needle in a haystack. There's millions of other authors out there, right? It's probably writing, some amazing books, right? What would make yours different? What would make yours stand out to make that needle shine enough for people reach through the haystack to grab it? So I figured I just wanted to be different. So what I mean by different is my book trailer. I wanted to do a book trailer that was different, right? So most authors use stock footage, and they'll go into this big bank of stock footage and they'll grab this and grab this because it's close to what their book is talking about. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do a cheesy book trailer. So an army buddy of mine who retired, he got out the military and he became a makeup artist for movies and directors, and then he advanced until he's a director now. He got his own production company. So I reached out to him and said, hey, listen, I wrote a book. I want to do a book trailer. I want this to be as if you're sitting in a movie theater and you're watching a movie that's going to come out months later, waiting for the movie that you want to watch. So he didn't even know what a book trailer was. So once he looked at it, I gave him a synopsis of my book. I gave him a storyboard on how I wanted the trailer to be. And we did a casting call for actors and actresses. And, we had them on the board and I picked them. Hey, I think this person would be great for this character. This person would be great. And we filmed it in Atlanta. I'd love to have done it in Chicago, but you know how things go sometimes. So we filmed it in Atlanta over a weekend. And I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it looks awesome. So that is what I wanted to separate. Two, I didn't just want a book about drugs and a book about just the drug dealer is just about himself or just his people. I wanted to be a bigger picture and a bigger movement because my book is an underlining message than drugs. It's about black minds all forming as one to reach a certain goal. It's if we all stick together and put our money together, and we can do a lot of damage in this world, right? Because the universe will give us, because we are the ones, we are one with the universe based off the melanin in our skin and how our bodies and how our energy speaks to the sun and so on and so forth. So, the message is just black people as one. We can do anything we want to do, right? We can make something out of nothing. Slavery is a huge example of that, right? So I just wanted to be that we as a people are amazing, and we can do amazing things once we come to one accord.
Right. So I did see the trailer, which it actually looked like a trailer to a movie. You know,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of trailers from urban fiction authors, and like you say, they're stock. So with that being said, are you looking to kind of make this into some type of short film or web series?
Yeah, so we are. I'm looking to make into a series. I want stars. I want HBO. I want Netflix. The book is the foundation for what I really want, right? So all the proceeds that's coming from this book is going to making this into a film. I already have a production company. You know what I'm saying? So I just need the funding, along with my personal finances to, push this thing forward. That's always been the goal from the minute I jotted the first sentence. How can I get this to the big screen so people can look at it, see the hidden messages in it, and support it?
Right. So, are you currently working on the second part of the series?
I am. We actually going to start filming a short. It's about a 10-minute film we're going to do in the next couple months. And I've already started The Proclamation of a God, which is the book, because it's written in reverse chronological order. So this book is going to basically tie to the first, but it's supposed to be last written book. So I started it about 2.5 weeks ago, man, and it's already fire. I can't wait to get it out. And, I wrote it in reverse as a challenge to myself, to be able to write something going backwards, right? And my inspiration was Star Wars. Star Wars was 6 movies deep. And it was like, nah, bro, you give us 3 movies and then 3 of your best, then the other 3 will shelf. So I said, let me see if I can do it. So it's challenging, but I love it, man. I like tying the pieces together.
Right. So, excuse me, they say, I hear a lot of authors or writers say that to be good at writing, that you have to read a lot. I don't know how true that is, but regardless, who are some of the authors that you enjoy reading, or what are some of the books you enjoy reading?
Well, that's funny, right? Because I'm actually not a book reader, which is hilarious. So my inspiration from writing comes from, my mom used to take me to the movies every Friday, me and my brother. We in there watching any movie she wants to see, right? She got the money, so we are trapped or whatever she wants to see. So she's in there with Exorcist and Poltergeist, and I'm in the movie theater like this, because this was just crazy for me. But that created my vivid imagination. Also, being in the military, I've been around the world twice. I've been in different cultures. I've been in different countries, and just interacting with people, that put that into my memory bank of how to deal with people, how to watch people gestures. And when you in a war zone, you watch people like a hawk, because, the guy that they letting through the gate who's doing services for military can very well be the guy who comes in and strap a bomb to himself and just kill our soldiers. So you learn how to watch people. You watch their mannerisms. You watch their personality. So I think that, and also reading tech manuals and then reading to learn and not for enjoyment through my life is what really bonded my imagination and my experience into books. So I would have to say movies are my inspiration to writing.
Yeah, I can agree to just about everything you've said. I've read books, urban fiction books, but I'm not a fan of reading. I read to know. Like if I need to know something, then yes, I will go read, but not for enjoyment. But one of the things I want to ask you is what makes for a good author? What makes for a good book?
I would say, man, that is a really good question, because you are just by yourself, right? I never had any help. I just imagined to myself what would be a good book, and then I started scoping down what would be a good book for me, and what would be a good book for my people. What would be a good message for my people? So I think what makes a good author is whatever you're marching for, stand on that, and you put that in your writing. whatever you're passionate about, put that in your writing, regardless of what it is. Um, whatever makes you toss and turn at night, and whatever makes you sleep comfortably at night, put it in your writing. I just want to be the type of author that put out very good stories. I want to put Black women in a positive light. I would never write a book that will put Black women in a negative light. We have enough of that. We have enough of the angry, screaming, the weave down to the kneecap, twerking. That is, to me, is just played out, right? I want to put uh, our queens in a positive light, because Black women have done a great deal for this universe, for all of mankind, right? Every walking being on this earth come from a Black woman. So for me to continue to watch other authors and other filmmakers degrade Black women, nope, not on my watch. So even in this book, I have two Black main characters, females, and they have great roles. And if it wasn't for them, Richie couldn't do what he's done and what he's accomplished. So I think for me, that would make me a great author. I stand up for my people. We can never have enough of those, right? We can never have enough of Farrakhan's. We can never have enough of Martin Luther King's, the Malcolm X, the Medgar Evers. We need those folks throughout, in our history and in our future.
So it's interesting that you brought up Black women and having two main Black females in your story. Can you kind of give some details on their background and their character a little bit?
Right. So we have two main characters. One character name is Ariel, and the other one is Dee. So Ariel in the book, she was the middle person between Richie and the Connect. She connected them in order for him to get the product that he needed in order to push the movement. Dee is another character who, and Richie's whole team is military. That's in Chicago. They all have a military background, so they move different. They're in the streets, but they're not street. They have a military mindset. So Dee is she actually got out the military to join the movement. And what she does, she runs his operations. She makes sure that everyone is taken care of, all the flights, people going places, moving products. She is the heartbeat of his organization, right? And without them two, there's no movement. So, I purposely wanted to put Black women in that light, so I can have positive images of Black women. But that's who they are without giving out too much away of the book. But it is a really, really good read.
Well, describe your book in 3 words or less.
I would say humorous. I would say nail biting, and I would say Black power.
I can definitely deal with the Black power. That right there would make me go and buy the book. I'm all about Black empowerment. But last question: how can the public connect with you and purchase your book?
Right. So I know the first thing people want to do is go to Amazon and hit up Kindle and look for my book, right? I am not on any of the big machines, right? Because of the profit that they take. So I took the total entrepreneurship of authorship. I want to capitalize on all my dollars. I want to maximize on all of it because I'm taking it and I'm putting it to something that is much bigger than the book. So if you go to www.apaj, even though it's spelled Page, Turner.com. It's www.apageturner.com. I have ebooks, I have hard cover, with sleeve, without, and I have paperback.
Okay, and I'm sure we can get some autographed copies once we order.
I'll sign anything, right? But when it get, because it's starting to pick up to the point to where I'm spending a lot of time signing books and not writing books. It's going to be a time where I kind of like cut back on doing that. But definitely we'll sign it. Definitely leave a note. Hey, thank you for supporting me. For somebody I know, I usually leave something in there about, our connection or whatever, just to personalize it just a little bit more and get it in the mail. I have my own distribution. I have everything is in-house. So, don't want to get a big machine, too much money.
Yeah, no doubt. But I appreciate you joining the Culture Report to go over emancipation of limits. Hopefully you reach the level of success. I know a lot of authors, they want to hit that New York best-selling. Hopefully you reach that landmark. You've already made a huge historic feat in the Black community. Hopefully, you can continue to create success and pave roads for other authors who see you and want to follow down your path as well.
I appreciate that, brother. And I also want to say to you, man, hey, congrats on the relaunch, man. I hope that you guys have an open highway to success. Anything that I can do to help you guys, man, I'm here. I would love to come back after maybe a few months of the book getting out there, and people who have read the book, we can just talk about it more in detail to get people out there. But hey, congratulations on the relaunch, man. I'm with you. You got a fan.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So we'll definitely chop it up in the future. We build a bridge. We've connected. I'm going to find you on social media. And yeah, that's all I have. And once this video come out, I'll definitely send you the link so you can share with your fan base, and hopefully it helps with people wanting to flock to your website and snatch up their copy of Emancipation of Limits.
All my social media handle is a.Paj Turner, right? Because everything I write is a Paj Turner. You can catch that.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, I appreciate you, man. And we're definitely going to do this again. No doubt.
No doubt, man. Hey, man. One love, brother.
All right. Be cool.
All right, man.